Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Roxanne, SuperDoodleGirl, and I'm going to share with you how I approach a coloring page. Recently, I've started doing the coloring pages, but formatted as a zine. Where we're starting in the process, I've just colored in like you would do a regular coloring page. And now I'm going to start to add details. When I design these, I think of what I can give you to get you started, but then also leave space for you to add your own personality, for you to add things that you're working on in your creative practice. The tools I'm using, I've colored in these letters and all the words with Prismacolor colored pencils. I've also used some of the Gravy acrylic markers. And if you want to know exactly what I've used, I'm going to link all of that in the description below the video. One of the things that I love about using acrylic markers in this process is even when you print out the lettering and the doodles that I've given you, you can take an acrylic paint pen or marker and you can literally cover up some of those lines. You can change it, which is what I just did here. I covered up the black dots with the blue. And now I'm going to start working on Oh, wait, I'm looking at the colors. So I got a color balance. I thought I was going to go ahead and work on the backgrounds. But this is, I know which two pages go together because I've done zines before and I'm about to show you how to fold it. But I'm balancing the colors so that my color palette extends throughout the entire zine, but also makes sense of the two pages that you see at the same time. This is to get a little bit of that orange and peach, kind of yellow and pink. That's going to span those two pages. Now we're going to fold it. Those of you who've not folded a zine, this might be new. If you have already folded a zine, be sure to watch because there's so many different ways to fold the zines. But I will tell you a couple of the keys right here. Make sure that you fold it straight. And I'm using a bone folder so that I get nice, crisp folds. And I'm also reversing the fold every time I do it. You're going to fold it in half and then fold it in half again. Here's another trick. You're going to come into the center and then you press up and down and reverse that fold. Now we've got the papers folded into quadrants, and then turn it back, landscape, and you're going to fold each of the edges in. This is the pattern that I've used for this particular zine. Make sure you reverse all of your folds. And once you learn the process, this is the one that I'm going to use for all of the zines that I send out to the mailing list. But I also will put a link in the show notes below if you don't have a copy of it so you can get your own copy. Now you're going to put the folded edge toward your scissors and you just make the little frog mouth and push the sides together. And then because this is printed out on HP32 paper, I can straighten up any of the folds and then crease it again with the bone folder. And now you can see how each of the pages go together. I'm looking to see how my colors look. And you could be completely finished with your zine at this point. I'm going to add a little more color into this one flower that I'd left white, but it spans over both pages. I'm taking it a little bit into that page that has a lot of pink and blue, but also want to make it work with the front page that already has orange and yellow on it. You can see over to the left where I have my little palette. One of the things I do when I'm working on a color page is I'll go through my tools, pull out my color palette, the ones I'm going to be using, and then I put them in these little containers. I've got them right there in front of me. So I don't have an overwhelming number of supplies. I have exactly the number that I like to work with. Now, these were some 3D gel pens that somebody recommended to me, and they worked great when I first used them, and now they're kind of dried out and wonky. So I'm going back to the Gravies. These are the pump action paint pens, and I have had better consistency with them. And now let's try to think through what to do on the background. This is kind of hard because I've got both warm and cool colors. So I'm going to balance it out. I'm taking this sort of a yellow orange of the This is a Prismacolor, not a watercolor pencil, just a regular one. And I did speed this up like 3x because this took forever to get this smoothly colored in. What I'm thinking here is a kind of a gradient because I didn't want that all the way up. I'm playing with lots of color. And now I'm going to bring in the orange, bringing it right below the lettering and coming behind the blue because I know orange and blue look really nice together. And I'm extending the orange up a little bit more. But you can see I've got a challenge because I've got that loop that's orange and the background is orange. This is why I was saying you could totally be finished by just coloring it in, or this is a great way to practice your color, figuring out additional designs to add to it. So my challenge is I didn't pull a pink Prismacolor, but I do have this pink Neo Color 2. I'm going to bring it in. Now, it works against the blue and with the orange, but I can't get it near the pink with talk because I want some separation there. But I think this will work. Gives me a little bit of different colors there. This is the first time I've used the Neo 2s with Prismacolors, so I'll have to practice kind of smudging those together. It still needs something, and I'm debating what color to put at the top, but then I think another color would be too much. This is the black glaze pen by Sakura. They don't make these anymore, so you could use my Jelly Roll 8, or if you have one of the Jelly Roll Broad, you could use that as well to get a nice thick line. I wanted the white space, but I also wanted the color. My compromise was to put a design there, some straight line doodles. And I think that worked out well. As you think through this with the full zine, you're going to have 4 quadrants that you will see 2 of the pages together. This is how I work through it. That page is complete. And now we look at this. I like to fold it back. I'm only looking at 2 at once. I'm using the same colors as I move through this. I don't really have to worry about if they're going to look good together. I know they are. This is my first time using the Neo Color 2s. So I'm going to just put this on as a background. They're very pigmented and they're creamy. So I'm wondering if it will, as I build up the layer, if it'll rub off on each other. I don't know. You can drop in the comments if you use these a lot. Let me know. But for this, I really like the bold, this kind of yellow-orange color. It looks really, really good with that blue. Now, I don't think I want it on the next page, but I am putting a little more of the orange there to just have the and stand out a little more. I'm going to do a drop shadow around the frame, get a little more of that on. I did think I should put this extra paper underneath there because I didn't want the extra of that color rubbing off on the back side of my zines. Now I'm going to switch to, I think this lighter blue is going to be nice as the background around the frame on this page. It will kind of mimic that lighter blue that's on the left, which was a Prismacolor, just colored pencil. As I'm working through this, one of my challenges whenever I'm working in a journal or in anything is that if I see any white space, I like to cover up every little bit of white space and leave none of it. That's part of my practice, and my challenge is I'm going to try to leave a little bit of white on each of the pages. We'll see how that goes. But this one, oh, I like that. Let's see what they look like together. There's a little bit of white on each of the pages. And I like that Neo Color 2 so much. I'm going to just cover up some of the Prismacolor. I'm going to add a little more of that Neo 2 in there. Now, the Neo Color 2s, I didn't buy a full set. I just bought some of the ones that I thought would work with colors that I love to work with. My gravy marker's almost out of paint. I'll have to see if I can refill that. For this one, I'm going to bring some black onto it, and I'm going to add a frame around here. Yeah, I do leave the little page numbers on because if people don't know how to fold zines, they might get confused over which page is which page. This one, we have a frame around the lettering. And then I just drew over those leaves. So I'm going to put little dotted lines, little details over it. That's fine. But this is, as I said, this glaze pen that I'm using, it's very bold, and the way the ink flows out of it, it's very hard to get a very detailed line. So it's very bold. So I just covered those up. Well, on this one, I have a lot more white space that's left. But I think that works because there's a lot more detail in the lettering. There's a lot going on this spread. But I do want a little bit more. Oh, you know what? Let's do some polka dots. So just taking that glaze pen, continuing some doodles around. And honestly, I don't know if this is the best design decision, but what was going on is I find this interesting. So as I'm working and if something catches my attention, I'll just start adding it onto the page. And that is what's happening here. So we don't have many dots yet. So this is a nice addition. I think these will work. Yeah, so put a few more here on top so that I'm carrying it throughout the design. This one has just a little bit of blue in the leaves, but it also has the red, yellow, orange that is carrying through. Now, this is what happens as I start working. Something will catch my eye. And so I'm noticing on this flower, I used the acrylic paint pens and covered up some of the lines. So now I'm going to bring the lines to the top using the glaze pen just to get a little more pop on that flower. I think that looks good. I like that. Now our final quadrant, this is going to be the back of the zine where it says it's that simple, and the front of the zine says make stuff you love. I don't want to get that front too cluttery, and the back already has this nice frame. So this bottom space, I am going to make a border, drawing on first with the glaze pen. And as I mentioned before, I'm working on leaving a little white space. I added extra lines there. And then I'm going to extend these vertical lines to the right of that first page. And then it'll carry over into the second page. I think that will work well as a design element. Now, as we add the color to the bottom, I'm going to use the gravy acrylic markers. And for this one, I could do just random colors, but I'm going to put them in order. You can pick an order and then just repeat the order and notice what happens on your page. The one thing I do love about using the acrylic paint pens is the pump action ones. Some people don't like those. They like the ones that are just either the brush tip or they automatically go. I get really good coverage out of these. And so that's what I like. I like the flow of the ink, and it doesn't bother me to shake them and then prime them. See how I have this extra page of paper where I can just test them out as I use them. And now it was a design choice to put them in order. We've got kind of all of our warm colors together, and then I've got 2 shades of the blue. And I'll just repeat this to complete the zine. I wanted to show you this because what you can see in this progression, you could completely color in exactly what I've given you, and it looks wonderful. But then like I said, if you want to explore, especially your color palettes, if you wanted to explore adding additional doodles to your page, I invite you to do that. Because this is how you get good at something, is you get started and you work through a project. With this one, what I've noticed, at first I was doing one color at a time, and that was taking a bit too long. And so this time, I know I could have thought of this first. So I'll color in, and then I know where the pattern's going, so I can quickly add the yellow, and then I know this one on the end will also be yellow. That works well. I do like those little white lines in between. When I first started doing a lot of color, a lot of doodling, like I said, I would cover up every little spot of white on the page. This is my practice of letting there be some empty spots. Let's see what this looks like as we put it all together. Wait, these don't look quite right. So I'm going to put an outline, this darker blue. And the other thing that's catching my eye is that we only have dots in that one quadrant. I am going to very carefully, so I want to caution you here. Remember, this is the Neo 2 on the bottom, and it's waxy. You have to be careful of when you're putting paint on top of that, because you can clog up, you can ruin your markers. I was very, very light as I placed that. So I was not pushing into the waxy part. I was just almost letting that acrylic paint just flow out of it, barely touching it. So be careful with that as you start mixing and matching your mediums together. Now I love this color scheme so much. Make sure it's all dried before you fold it together. And you can see here, you can really see what the different quadrants look like. Nice. Okay, we push it together. Make sure you see your little frog mouth in the front. So push it together. Make sure it's dry. Here we go. Push it together, and then you're going to fold it over to make your little book. Now let's look at it and see what we have. The front page says, make stuff you love and talk about stuff you love. And you'll attract people who love that kind of stuff. It's that simple. This is one of my favorite quotes by Austin Kleon. If you watched all the way through, thank you so much. And if this helped you, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when new videos go live. Take care.